Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This for my city, yeah, this for my team. If you talking, it's hard to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, champion. The game is in trouble, I've been in my depth for the piece of the puzzle, I got it for real. Still keep me going, I wake up and hustle, you won't see me buckle, I've been in the field. Man of the town, you been in your fields, I'm adjusting this crown. Call me your majesty, either that or your tragedy. We shutting everything down. I've been hot like somebody put a candle on them. Off top, I don't really stand opponents, this mine. The moment is, run out and start a bunch of pandemonium. More game, I got some, the skill is bar one, y'all done, the game in the coffin. Referee screen recipes, and think twice if you next to me. It's West. This ain't no regular thing. I came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This for my city. Yeah,
this is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to One Ass Cheek and Three Toes. This is Brian Beastrilla Art. I am your host. And next to me, I have Chris Peoples, the baseball guy on MLB. We're going to be talking today. And in the bottom of me, I got the Mad Yinser, Pittsburgh Pirate fan. And obviously, you see Tiger fans in here. And Nate the Great, who's a Boston Red Sox fan. What's up, Nate? Chris?
What's up, man?
Mad Yinser?
What's up, guys? What's up, everybody?
You guys having a great day?
Yeah, Wednesday. Hump day.
I know I'm having a great day because the show that was on before us, it wasn't on there. So I didn't have to hear any of that foolishness for 5 minutes. So yesterday was Jackie Robinson Day. You know, we always throw a tribute to Jackie Robinson. He passed the color bond by, being able to play baseball and brought a lot of that to the rest of the league. So we have a melting pot of baseball professionals now. So that was good. That was the tribute there. The three, I do the three baseball things because there's three of us on here that have our own teams. Hey, Nate, Boston won yesterday, 7-4.
Hell yeah, they did.
There you go. And your boy, the guy that just signed, he hit 2 home runs.
Bregman? Oh, dude, Bregman's on the tear right now. He's probably one of the best players right now in the AL. So yeah.
And unfortunately for you and me, Mad Yinser, both our teams got shut out. Pittsburgh by the Nationals, and the Brewers beat the Tigers. So
you gotta keep the hope, though, man. Keep the hope.
Yeah.
Still plenty of baseball to play.
Yeah, we're getting to that. Chris will be telling us a whole bunch about that in a moment here. Other than that, I believe, though, that Detroit's still at the top of their division. Like I said, it's a long season. It ain't how you start, it's how you finish. On that note, Chris, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Not too bad. Not too bad. Pretty even day today. I mean, give props to my soldier that went to the promotion board today. Didn't pass. But maybe next month, we'll hope. But yeah, give props to him that he did well today. So awesome.
Yeah, that's good. So what you got on the docket for us today?
Okay, so one thing that is, and it's never a cause for concern because some players start off notoriously slow to the season, some start off on fire, and vice versa. So Miguel Cabrera is one. I do believe he was a player that started off slow to start a season, and he would always be up there towards the end of the season. So yeah. So the biggest thing is Riley Green. He has literally only had 1 hit and 2 walks in his last 7 games. He is in a hitting slump, a batting. So I don't know if it's the way he's attacking the hitters, or whether it's the hitters just kind of know him right now, and the players that are batting before him are not batting well enough to get him set up pitches. So at this point, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what he's doing that's keeping him in this slump. I think he's chasing too many pitches. I watched I really after the last two nights I was really watching the last two nights I've been really watching him what he's been taking. And so like last night he took 3 pitches, 2 down the middle and one that was hittable. It wasn't one of those close pitches, but all 3 of his strikes were pitches he absolutely should have swung at. And you can't watch 3 straight strikes without at least swinging at one of them. And he just didn't. He let them all go by thinking they were balls. And I don't know what he was watching. I mean, they were very hittable pitches and they were in the strike zone, solid strike zone, not nipping them. They were in the strike zone. So I don't know what he's seeing.
He probably doesn't have his eye right now. That's what
I
it
think,
is.
Yeah. Or the confidence.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good position player. So, I mean, I'd want him to move to DH so he can concentrate just on the hitting portion. But, I mean, like, he's too valuable in the field, too. So,
yeah.
I mean.
Another thing, too, that I saw a stat about Riley Green and Torkelson, actually, that I think Riley Green leads the MLB in strikeouts with 28. I think.
And that's very possible too. So
and Torkelson is 23. So and Torkelson's having a great year. But he's up there in strikeouts too. So he's only 5 worse than Riley Green is, but Riley Green's obviously not hitting. So I don't know. I think it's the confidence thing when it comes to hitters. You've gotta feel it, you've got to get in a swing. I know when Devers struck out 19 times before he got going. It's all about rhythm and confidence. And it's a long ass season, man. I don't expect good hitters to hit good all year. They're going to go through slumps, and Riley Green is still a young guy. He's still learning the game and still coming onto the scene. So I would be more worried if it's halfway through the season and the guy isn't hit over maybe 200 or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe you take him down to the AAA and let him get some hits.
Yeah, Green and Torkelson are definitely in your top 10 in strikeouts right now. They're not the worst, but at the end of the day, I mean, do you want to be there? No, you don't. I expected Torkelson to have a higher strikeout rate. I absolutely do not believe that Riley Green should be there. He's more of your base hitter. He's a contact hitter, so he shouldn't be getting that many strikeouts, which is a cause for concern. But once again, in this day and age, people swing at more stuff than they used to. They're not as patient.
Right.
So
and for him being a patient hitter is not a bad thing either.
I mean,
I think hitters need to be patient more now than rather just swing at everything that goes at them. Because a lot of strikeouts come because you swing out of the plate. Where it's easily a ball, but you still think that you can hit it.
Yep.
Cockiness comes a lot with the hitters too. That they can hit everything. I can hit this.
Correct. I mean, there's an argument there. Rafael Devers is second in the league, tied with Riley Green in strikeouts, but he also has 12 walks to go with that as well.
He's an aggressive.
I think that also on top of that, I was looking at a stat too that one of the batting average for the highest Tiger is 283, and that tells you a lot right there. One of the highest batting averages they have.
Right. Yeah.
Well, when you start the season, your batting average fluctuates so much because just 3 games ago we had 3 guys over 300. So that's what I'm saying. It's so quick.
And guess what, Chris? We've lost 2 of the last 3.
Correct.
So, and the batting average has gone down. Yeah.
I mean, you could play the next 2 games. Today, we're losing 2-0. Okay, already.
4.
Oh, it's 4. Oh, well. Well, all right. Well, but you could go.
But that. Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, but that's the Achilles heels of the Tigers. Like their pitching's only gonna go so far because you have to have some kind of hitting to go with it. You know, like the pitching right now has been pretty decent for the Tigers, but you know, it's like football. You know, if you have a really good defense and you have no quarterback, like you put a lot of pressure on your defense to have to get stops all the time. And if your offense goes 3 and out, your defense is going to get worn down. So, I mean, pitching's like that in baseball. Like if you have good pitching, you can only do so much good pitching before it starts getting worn down and your bullpen gets worn down. Like they have to figure out the hitting situation. They got to get more bats, more hits, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we said that on our other show, all last season, all postseason of all the season to start the season this year. But what they do, they sign one dude.
Yeah.
I can't scream enough that we needed veteran bats, but we get Gleyber Torres. You know, like that's and he's okay. He's not great. So he's not even like he's above average, but that's it. That's what you signed. That's what we get. And so and on top of that, the guys that we wanted to be like where they're supposed to be, they all got hurt to start the season. And now you have nobodies. Now you have backups. And mind you, some of them are playing pretty good, but you don't have consummate guys that can get hits in key situations. So that's where you end up doing it. Like you can't speak about it enough. You need veteran bats. I don't mean Zach McKinstry, who is actually, by the way, doing pretty good. I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about the guy that is head and shoulders a very good bat, you know? So what do you do with that?
I mean, also too, I mean, I still think it's a little early in the season to really cast any aspersions on anything right now. You know, we're only a month into the season.
Yep.
But I would think about maybe looking at bringing up somebody from AAA. You know, maybe somebody who's been kicking it in AAA that's been doing well, and maybe look at, you know, giving them a shot. You know, like go with some of your maybe bring up some of your young guns and see what they got.
The issue is we've got a lot of young guys already up. Like what? Yeah. Your issue. See, most of your guys on your roster are first and second year players.
Right.
So who else are you bringing up? Plus, you've got to make way for Parker Meadows when he comes back. You got to make way for Winsel Perez when he comes back. So you've got those guys that still have to come back. You've got a couple other guys that are also, I can't remember off the top of my head, that are injured too. I mean, you
can also send people down too, Chris. Like you can bring up people and you can send people down. Like I know Detroit did that a lot last year. They sent people down to AAA and, you know, let them get right or whatever. And especially with young players, you know, they understand that if they're not cutting it in the big leagues, they got to go down and figure out what's going on. You know, go back to the basics and
correct,
but their craft.
So the issue is the only person that's actually on a slump is Riley Green.
Yeah.
Your other guys are not high end prospects that are that are playing. So you can't send Riley Green down. You might have to, or bench him, or move him to DH, or got to do something. He's got to figure it out. But who are you bringing up? Because nobody's lighting it up other than one guy, Jace Jung, who is down there. But where are you going to put him? Like, hard to give somebody a chance when you've got other guys that are up here that are young that need the chance.
Yeah, and you also said about Riley Green that minus the bat, he's been pretty effective on his position, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I mean, he's not bad. He's not bad at all areas. If you had his position and you a bat, then you could be like, we got to figure something, dude. Like take him to ever. But if he's doing other areas, I think the hitting will come. You know, it's a long fucking season. Like. You know, I always joke around with baseball season. You can win 20 games and lose 20 games and win 20 games. You know, like it's just that long of a season. Like it's hard to stay consistent that many games.
Well, I mean, I'm not dropping off a ledge. I mean, when we do a show every week, we have to give topics, and topics are going to have to be
Sure.
You're going to have to.
It's cause for concern. It's cause.
So if a player's like hasn't done well in 3 games, I'm not calling him out. Like, I'm not going to say anything. Like, what do you do? It's probably a series. He had a bad series. So what? But when you set 7 games and you only have 1 hit, like that's an issue. That's 2 series worth of play that you haven't done nothing, 0. And I have to have the same energy that I did with Torque and Javi Baez when I was mad at them. Like, dude, you guys gotta fix something. Javi Baez had to fix something. When I say that in the past years, I gotta have the same energy for players that I like too. And Riley Green is having an issue. He's having 7 games of nothing. And so I've got to have the same energy. Hey, Riley Green, you got to fix it.
And it's kind of a mixed bag of results because he went against Dodger pitching. He went against Yankee pitching. He went against Milwaukee pitching. He went against White Sox pitching, and so it's a mixed bag of like, has he played against good pitchers? Has he played against bad pitchers? Like it's just, it's still hard to determine, you know what I'm saying? Cause like,
but that's the thing. He did great against the Dodgers, Seattle, and the White Sox, and now he didn't do anything against the Yankees in Minnesota. That's the thing. Like, you would think,
Milwaukee,
huh?
And
Milwaukee, yeah. So
he just struck out again.
So that's the thing. It's like if there was like a pattern where you can go, well, he didn't play well against the Dodgers. That's acceptable. He didn't play well against the Yankees. Okay, so he's not playing well against good teams, but that's not the case. He's actually played well against a good team and a mediocre team and a bad team. But then he also did not play well against a good team and a mediocre team. So
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. You got a mixed bag of results. Like, you can't really pinpoint like one or the other because it's just kind of confusing. Like the teams he's played, because like you said, he's played well against some teams and he's played bad against other teams,
It's really not that. It's whatever the batter's flow is too. If he's not hitting pitching, he could be. If you got somebody that's not hitting pitching at all like that, then they're not good enough to play up in the the league in the show. But if you got somebody that's up there, he can hit pitches like that and can hit good pitching, and he just goes into a slump. Every batter goes into a slump. So it's just going to happen.
And what's going to end up happening is once a batter, so once a team figures out how he's batting and they start pitching to him a specific way, every other game, the pitcher's going to pitch to him the exact same way, and it carries over to every series because they're going to sit there and go, okay, well, the biggest thing for the Tigers is they're trying to take a lot of pitches early. Yeah. Okay. The problem with Green is he's doing that, but his eye is off. So not only are you trying to take pitches, they know that you're gonna. So far it looks like low and away is what he's having trouble with, and so they're pitching everything low, and it looks like it's a ball to him. So yeah, he could take pitches, but you got to take them. How can I say? You still got to swing at stuff. Yeah. And it looks like things are. I don't think he's good at judging the low part of the strike zone very well right now. That's what it looks like he's been striking out on those low pitches.
It's kind of like with basketball, like if you're not shooting a good percentage, you're probably not more likely to take a lot of shots unless you're like somebody who just doesn't care. But a lot of people care about their stats. And so he's in a slump. I'm looking at his numbers right now. Like he's been an average around 250 hitter. So, I mean, he's at 219 right now. Yeah, I mean, it's a little concerning that he's kind of started off slow, but he's 24 years old. And, I think he'll probably around 250 or 230. He might be a little bit less than 250, I mean, it's early, but it's concerning, because you definitely want young players.
Another thing you could do with a batter.
Third year.
Another thing you could do with a batter is put him in a different part of the lineup. That sometimes helps because pitchers pitch to batters the way that the lineup is set up sometimes. Yeah. And if he's put in, and I think this was a suggestion that one of the sports affiliates had said about Riley Green, because it's kind of funny that you mentioned him just as I was reading this too. It might be where his place is in the batting order and how they're pitching to him with other batters around him. So maybe if he just goes to a different part of the batting order, he might get his groove back, and they can put him back where he was before.
Now, mind you,
and Cora does that. Go ahead, people. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
I was going to say, and Cora does that all the time. I mean, he didn't move Rafi when he went on the slump. He just said Rafi will figure it out. But he's done that with a lot of batters. Like if they were not hitting, he put them at the bottom of the order. You wouldn't want he didn't put them at the top, or he took them from the top to the bottom. So yeah, I mean, switching over to your lineup is not a bad idea either. And putting him in between two good hitters maybe might give him some confidence.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, this is a guy that's supposed to be a 280 hitter, like you're talking 15 to 20 home runs a year. Like this is. I mean, he'll probably increase as he gets better, but like 280 hitter is like what I'm looking at, 280, 275. But I mean, he's going to get he's going to find his niche, but I mean, like I said before, he's the outlier right now. Torque's doing good. Like, maybe Colt Keith has some issues too, based on, because he doesn't have as much value in the field as Green does, but he also is not batting well either. So he's a cause for concern too, but he's a second-year player. So what you can't really say a whole lot about him, but I mean, it only takes like a series for the batting averages to go back up. And
exactly. Yeah.
So once again, early, I judge after about 25, 30 games in the season. Then we can start seeing like, okay, so where are you at right now?
Right.
At 30 games. Okay, cool. We're looking pretty good. But I mean, yeah, you got a lot of people. Some people are hitting well. But as a team, I mean, we went from batting 261, like literally 3 days ago, to batting 239 as a team. Like that's how much it changes. Once you get to the middle of the season, the batting averages don't move so much. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And you kind of see where the hitters land too. Some hitters start off really, really hot. Like, we talk about Bregman for the Red Sox. I expect Bregman to have a really good year, but he didn't start very well. Like he was actually like Red Sox fans are already calling like, we signed this guy for what? Or this guy's washed, and now all of a sudden he's had this like hot streak for these last couple of series.
Yep.
And like, oh, this is why we signed him. So it's hit or miss, man. It goes back and forth.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing that Juan Soto is going through, but Juan Soto's starting to heat up.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's just ebbs and flows of the season.
And with a young team, the ebbs and flows are going to be bigger. So that's just. And a lot of times, misery likes company. So, like when one teammate or two teammates hit a slump, a lot of times so did the other one. So, I'm hoping it doesn't. But
and that's why you have and that's why you have a coach like AJ Hinch. Like AJ Hinch won a championship. Like he can be that leader in the clubhouse right now until somebody else emerges as a leader on the team. And like. He's seen guys go in slumps, and I'm pretty sure he's like, hey, just keep hitting it, like be smarter when you hit, obviously don't just hit it just to hit it, but like look at the pitch and look at where it's coming and, take a little swing on it, be a little aggressive,
Well, the mantra though for the Tigers this season has been trying to take as many pitches as they can and foul them off. So like they're trying to get pitch counts up on starting pitchers, which has worked effectively until they got to the Milwaukee Brewers, who have actually like done well. I'm just watching now, like they're still up there in pitch count though. But the problem is we're not getting I think now we're taking too many pitches, and that is backfired. So once a pitcher realizes that.
Another thing too in baseball, I mean in Tiger baseball, I haven't seen a lot of Tiger baseball. I think I saw when they played the Dodgers the first game. But do y'all do like manufacturer runs or try to manufacture hits, like playing squeeze ball or playing like the short game?
We're one of the better teams in doing that in the league because not many people play small ball anymore. And so just by default, because we overrun, we go home on way more times in the season in game. We overrun the bag a lot more. We take more chances on squeeze plays and stuff like that.
I've noticed that.
You still don't see them very much, but like we'll hit and run quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to see us like manufacture a run in terms of like, okay, we got a guy on third, we're going to lay a bunt down the first base line to try to squeeze him home. Not very few teams in the league do that unless they really need to. But I would not be surprised if it were to happen. But ours is more like we're trying to put runners on. We're trying to get our runners across like to the next bag. So we're running more. We're trying to.
I have seen a couple of times where y'all send the runners from first to second, trying to get in a scoring position, and it didn't work, But I mean, it's the aggressiveness of the coach to do that, So, and I think that's probably because you don't have a team that hits very well. So if you got somebody on base, you want to try to score them in because you don't know how many opportunities you're going to have to get on base. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I mean, I think the most important thing about the Tigers this year, they are trying to steal more often as well. It's one of the main points that they had going into the season is stealing more bases, and they've been doing that pretty much effectively.
Right.
But you got to get on base first, and then you got to realize too the Tigers don't have a lot of their firepower in the lineup right now. The catchers on IR, like I said, got Parker Meadows on IR. Who's the other guy we got on IR that's a big hitter for us?
Winslow
Perez, and then there's another guy though, another outfielder. But anyway, we got all those players out there, so our lineup is not,
it's not whole.
a starting lineup right now. Yeah, so we're gonna have to take our bumps and bruises just like anybody else without the full lineup.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean. Our biggest thing has been with getting on base, which is a big deal. That's what has led to like us taking pitches too. We're trying to be more patient at the plate. But as I was saying, like if you find out like how to get us out, which is what Milwaukee has done, the patience won't pay off as much because then if you can find out teams should already know that we're trying to take get as deep into counts as we possibly can. Throw the ball right down the middle, and if we hit it, we hit it. But a lot of times we're taking a lot of pitches. So we're trying to get on base another way other than hitting the ball. So, I mean, we're top 10 in the league in walks and total bases, but like our batting average isn't that great. So we're still getting on base. Unfortunately, our runners in scoring position is still an Achilles heel from last year. That is something that we cannot do. So we have to learn from that. The problem is with no veteran bats, that doesn't happen.
Right.
Veteran bats, quality veteran players are the ones that can get you the runs in. We don't have those. So we have to hope that our young guys will get people home, and they're not. So
Well, I mean, and with a young team, like B was saying, you guys don't have all your pieces. I think the evaluation period to really look at this Tigers team is when you get all your pieces on deck and they're whole, and then you could really see what the ceiling of this team looks like before you guys decide to make a move or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think the fan base expectations are way different than obviously the front office. I just don't know what the front office is, what their idea is. I mean, the Lions, we've known this ever since Campbell and Brad Holmes came. We knew what their projection was. Like we knew because they would tell you. They wouldn't like directly say, this is what we're going to do. They would explain to you like, this is where we're at. This is what we're looking for. The Tigers front office is mum's the word, which is not good because you want to be at least a little bit transparent with your fan base on what you're doing. But when you just say, hey, we're just drafting, we're working through the draft, that if you say that every single year, after a while, that falls on deaf ears, and people are like, okay, well, when are you going to produce?
Right.
So gotta let the season play out, and we'll see what happens, because that'll dictate where the front office needs to go next year. Because if they don't make the playoffs this year, and most of their young guys don't play well, you can't harp on the draft is the way to go. But if they do, then you can support. You're like, well, hey, the draft. See, we did well. The draft did well. Cool.
Well, you could do both. You can draft and you can go out and spend some money too. You know?
Yeah, that's a problem. The front office hasn't said that, so they keep preaching we're building through the draft. Now, if you go, I know what you're going to go with this. Okay, that doesn't mean we can't get veterans. You're right. You're right. That absolutely does say that. However, when you don't show it by free agency, then you're not. That's not what you're saying.
Yeah,
as a fan base.
I think with this front office, from my opinion, I think that it's a wait and see approach. I don't think.
Uh-oh. There you go. Yeah, there he is. Popped off again. Hey, so your next thing, where do the Tigers rank overall in the American League and the major leagues?
Well, 3 days ago, or four games ago, I had a difference of opinion. I even said it on my. But see, that's the ebb and flow that we were talking about the league. It's too easy. It's too early to because after a series, the team's now at the bottom, or the team's at the top, depending on which way. 3 games ago, they were one of the best teams in baseball. Both they were top 5 in hitting. They were top 10 in pitching. Their defense was the best ranked defense in the league, but it switched. So you can tell just early on that I think the Tigers are a top 10 team in the league. The problem is because we're filled with young players, they're going to dictate how we rank throughout the year. It's not going to be easy because they go up and down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you have? What they rank right now in the major leagues?
They're still top 10 in pitching, I do believe. Yeah, they're still they're top 15 in batting. They're top 5 in 5 in pitching, and defense. They're top 5 in defense. But it's so close that it is what it is. Defense is so close in metrics that from the top to the bottom is not very many points. So it doesn't really, but they are top 5 in defense right now. So
that's good.
Yeah. So they're good, but it's the ebb and flows of the beginning of the season. That's why it's hard to talk about anything. I could talk about the minors and how well we got a couple of players. Josh Young is the one that's stood out in the minors right now to start the season, but that could end really abruptly. Who knows? They could bring him up and he do nothing. You know what? After I've seen Max Clark play a few preseason games, get a few at bats. They sent him all the way back down to the Whitecaps, which is 2 levels below. It's hard to tell at each level how well a player is going to do. So, but the team in general, they're good. They're really good, but it seems like when they're off, they're all off, and when they're all on. There's no.
Yeah.
It's very tough right now.
And I also think too, when you talk about small market franchises, they have to draft and develop their players, because they're not going to be an attractive destination right now when you've got teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox. You've got a lot of big name players right now that are vying for those top players. So they have to draft and develop. They have to. let me just finish real quick. They have to draft and develop their players in order to trade to get those big name guys. Like they have to have a deep farm system in order to have those prospects that other teams want. And they say, oh yeah, we'll give you that person for this many prospects or these top prospects. You know what I'm saying?
So what places do you quantify as big market? Because it varies from sport to sport, whereas a lot of fans think it's the same cities in every sport, which is absolutely incorrect. So for instance, Detroit Red Wings are a big market franchise in hockey. Even though you got New York and you got Chicago, but Detroit's a big market.
Right.
But in football, they are not. See, it just depends. What do you think of big market as?
Well, for as far as the MLB, the Tigers are now nowhere near a top 10 in baseball right now. Like,
no,
I can name a bunch of.
See, that's what I said. I said big market. There is a difference. Just because you spend money does not make you a big market. That's what I'm getting. The Dodgers are a big market because they're very viewable. They are big money and they spend. That doesn't mean like the New York teams are big market. Even if they didn't spend, they would still be big market. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I get what you're saying, but also you brought the popularity into the equation, which you're absolutely right. Viewable, ratings, talk about merchandise, all that stuff. Those teams I mentioned, those are all big market types of opportunities. But the thing is that in baseball, baseball doesn't have a salary cap. So the thing is that you can keep a lot of your great players if they want to stay. You can't do that in other sports. You can't keep all your great players. So the thing is that there's rarely situations where you see a lot of big name dudes that are going to go on the market. And if they do go on the market, it's like sharks in the water. Like everybody's going to go after those guys. And Detroit's not a player at the table yet. Like they're not somebody that a big name guy is going to consider. Like I think Bregman, surprising that Bregman considered the Tigers. I don't believe it. They were never really an option, but maybe they were. I don't know. I mean, we'll never really know.
Yeah, they were an option.
Yeah,
he didn't go there because they didn't give him the contract that he wanted.
Exactly. He asked for a ton of money, and the Tigers were too cheap. They offered him what they thought was a fair deal, and he probably didn't. He actually did a video. He did a video afterwards. Now, granted, like how much truth is into what you say after you. Normally, it would be like, well, I always wanted to go to Boston. No, he actually didn't say that. He actually said that the Tigers offered him a contract, but Boston offered them more. Mm-hmm. I mean, if he always wanted to go to Boston, he would have never mentioned the Tigers as an opportunity. If the Tigers would have offered him $45 million a year for 3 years, they would have gone. He would have been gone. He would have never even entertained Boston. But they didn't do that. They offered him very little in his mind. So my biggest thing is that players aren't going to go to certain situations. If I offered a bag to somebody, they're coming. Does that mean I'm a big market team? No.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're in the talks of it. Doesn't mean they're going to go.
Well, I mean, that's for every team.
That's every player of every team.
It's just like any other sport. When athletes are trying to get paid, they're also using other teams as leverage too. So, but it's still at the end of the day, whoever's the best, whoever's going to give you the bag is going to give you the bag. And in baseball, it's ever more because they don't have a salary cap. So, I mean, the Tigers are just cheap. It ain't that nobody wants to come to the Tigers. Tigers are just cheap. They're not willing to pay that bread to get a good player in here like that. They're just not doing that because they're cheap as hell.
Also, they're not marketable. They're not marketable. Like a lot of these great players not only make money from the team, but they also make from endorsements, marketing. Like, is Detroit marketable right now? Would you say they are? I wouldn't say they are.
What is marketable though?
See, because you got to get the players. You got to get the players here to be marketable. So you're not going to get marketable until you get the players here first. The marketing happens after you get the players, not before. So, like, if Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto, and freaking Aaron Judge all went to the Tigers, you tell me that's not going to be marketable?
Well, those are big names. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
You need the big names there first before you become marketable. The Dodgers, before they had Kershaw, like back in 2000 and whatnot, they weren't as marketable. They didn't win very much.
Well, the Tigers were marketable when they had Verlander.
Correct, because they had to have they had to get the player has to be good first. You have to be good first. Then
it's not about marketability in some teams. It's about what teams are willing to pay to be out there like that. If the Tigers aren't paying,
that is too. But how they view them, how they're viewed by other peers and other players matters too.
Because of the fact that if that organization is known to be cheap, ain't nobody going to want to go there. It's not about the team itself. It's about the owners. It's about the people that are the GMs. They ain't going to pay them players. They ain't going to go there because they know they're going to be lowballed. They don't want to go play if they're not going to get paid.
Here'll be a perfect example. If the Tigers do not re-sign Tariq Skubal, if they do not, they will not get a good free agent for many years after that. Because that'll just show that they are not willing to sign their own players.
Yep.
And so they won't be marketable because they won't have anybody. Right now, they're starting to gain marketability with Tariq Skubal, with Jack Flaherty. But you got to re-sign these guys over and over again. You got to re-sign your core players. But until that happens, you're not going to be marketable at all. And if they don't sign top players, they will not attract free agents because everybody knows that when they come here, they're not going to get signed. So.
Well, they've already kind of screwed themselves with Skubal already because they haven't signed him to a big deal when the guy's just been lights out.
No. It's not them. It's his agent's not going to sign until his free agency.
Yeah.
Because
which is dumb,
whatever you say you're worth now.
That's his agent. That's not has nothing to do with the Tigers.
Yeah, that's
the player directs to the agent.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Nate.
I'm saying the player directs what the agent what they want. I mean, it's going to be a bidding war if that's the case.
So if I came in and said, "Hey, Tariq Skubal, I'll sign you for 10 years at $40 million per," his agent's going to know for a fact that if the Tigers are offering that now, in 2 years, if he's got 2 more Cy Youngs, I'm going to get more for him from somebody else. That's what they look at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not like football where you're trying to get the guy done and sold and back on the team with a new contract before it jumps up. Baseball players know. They already know because there's no salary cap. So they know that there are teams out there that are going to be willing to pay 45, 50 million if that is the market. They project they project the market versus getting the bag now. So, I mean, if Tariq Skubal said, "Hey, dude, can you get me signed? Even though I have 2 more years left on this, I want to get signed now." I mean, I'm sure he would, but I'm sure his agent's like, "Dude, in 2 years you could have 2 more Cy Youngs. You're gonna be worth $50 million a year. Like, I think you should hold off." And he's gonna hold off because the dude's been doing it for freaking 20, 30 years. That's the difference. It's like that's what you pay your agent for, to give you the best contract, the best money possible at the correct time. Right. So that'll be the issue. If they don't re-sign players, it's going to be an issue. Now, if Nate's right and they haven't offered him anything or they haven't talked about it, that's on the Tigers.
I think the negotiations should be starting already on a long-term deal because
I don't know.
He's shown that he's worth it.
The issue is because, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, transparency with the Tigers is not like football. Like You will not hear out of the front office, oh, we're negotiating with him. You might find out like either after he leaves or if we sign that, hey, we've been trying to work with him for 2 years, or we haven't done anything until the last minute. You won't find that out until after everything is said and done. Then you
what was the reason why they didn't get a? I know they did the arbitration thing, but what was the reason why they didn't get a long-term deal with him this year? Was it because he wanted to wait till free agency? Is that what it was?
We got 3 years of team control still, or 2 years. I'm sorry, 2 years. He's got team control for 2 years. That's why.
Right, but he's outplayed his contract. We can all agree on that.
Yeah, but that's okay. Bistrella told you at the beginning, Chris Ilitch is cheap. I'm not joking. Like, we are not joking. Like, why negotiate?
Okay. No. I believe you in the cheap part, because if you really opened the bag, you would have gave Scooble a long-term contract already, because he's definitely deserved it. But the thing is, do you even have confidence that they're going to re-sign him?
No, that's
the asking price going to go.
That's what a lot of us have been talking about. We don't have complete confidence.
Yeah.
Dude signed a 37-year-old pitcher for 1 year, $15 million, who got hurt like after like 2 days he got here, and the guy was about ready to retire. Like, he don't sign people long term. Like, maybe 2 years.
So let me play devil's advocate, because I was a big proponent of them doing this last year. They didn't do it. Trade Scooble and get a boatload of fucking players. Either prospects or a big bat.
You should have saw the offers that people were like. Now, who knows what they got offered? But the offers that people had on the table were a joke. They were an absolute joke. When it came, Scooble, at that time there was 2.5 years of control. They were offering like that. People were saying, well, I mean, granted, these are fan bases; these are not experts. But some of some of the guys that actually do this for a living were like saying, well, we'll give them the top 2 picks, in Baltimore's player pool, and then another guy. I'm like, dude, that's 3 dudes. That's 2 prospects that, I get it, they could be really good. You're giving me 2 prospects and a bat in your current lineup for a Cy Young winner. Like, that's crazy. Like, you better the start 4 prospects, and it can be 2 top 10, one. The next one can be a top 50, and then whatever other prospect plus a bat in your lineup. Like, you had to give up the boat to get him, because if it was just a regular like free agent that he's getting ready to be a free agent, I would accept it like a prospect or 2, like a top 10 prospect or 2, because we're going to lose them soon. Absolutely. But 2.5 years of team control, that's a lot. Plus a Cy Young winner. They weren't even coming close. It was a joke. Yeah, so I mean, if
that's what I'm saying, and that's what, and that's what I'm saying is, like, you could a big ass boatload for him. That good.
But that's the thing. People weren't offering it. So why would you even entertain it? It's like, if you're not going, okay, so I've got 2 top 10 picks. A current like player, a good roster player that hits well, and I've got 2 more prospects. Cool, I'm listening. If you say 2 prospects, top 10 or top 50, and a bat in my lineup, I'm hanging up the phone. I'm not even talking to you. Like, but that's the problem. Is like the amount of picks that he was worth. Nobody could give up. Baltimore and another team were the only 2 that had the gusto. I mean, I don't know what they got as a true offer, or if they even entertained it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
And that's another question.
Go ahead.
No, so that's another question within itself: is, do you want prospects for Scooble, or do you want a bat, a proven bat already?
Well, that's the thing. If you get approved, like you'd have to get the MVP of the league as a batter in exchange for Scooble, because not only was he a Cy Young, so the MVP in the league and the Cy Young are the same thing across the board. Now, obviously, if you're saying Ohtani, let's cool the Jets. but you're talking like close to Aaron Judge caliber of a player because he MVP, Cy Young. I mean, those two are one hand in hand. The best batter, the best pitcher. So that's what you would have had to switch somebody similar. If not, every notch that you go down in the batter, the type of batter, you have to add prospects to that too.
What if the Angels called y'all and offered Mike Trout?
No, I'm not taking
Nope.
him.
Hell no.
He's got a chronic back injury, so I'm not taking him anymore.
Okay.
I would take him, and then you'd still have to give me 2 or 3 prospects.
Well, of course, yeah. I would be, I'd want their top 2 or 3 prospects of their farm system, but I would say, but they would, because I think Mike Trout's going to get traded at some point. I think he's been patient enough with that organization. I just think that it's time for him to go somewhere else and finish his career, because he's still a decent player. It's not bad. Still
he's
hitting
not
the
good
ball.
either. He can still hit home runs. That's for sure.
Yeah.
100 or something like that right now. But
Yeah.
the problem is he doesn't play a whole season, so you're not going to get much for him. You're going to get some on his name alone, but you're not. Once they look at his, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm not gonna. I'll give you a top 50 pick, and like maybe an average bat in my lineup for Mike Trout. That's what you're gonna get.
Okay. What about? And I don't know if the Dodgers would do this because they're the Dodgers, but they've been struggling hitting too. Mookie Betts. What about Mookie Betts?
You're not
and their top prospects.
They're not going to get rid of Mookie Betts. They're not going to get him. Their team is too complete. So I mean, the Dodgers are so good they can just wait until Skubal is a free agent and pay for him.
Mm-hmm.
They're just too good. Mm-hmm. Players that are at the top 3 in the league, they're not.
And that's you what you just brought up is a scary fact for Tiger fans, is that if they don't trade him, he is going to go somewhere else because somebody will pay him that money.
Yep.
You're not going to get anything for him.
Mm-hmm. 100%. We are still very tentative on what's going to happen. I don't know how the true fan base is, but I know a few of the guys that I talk to that say that they're just cautiously optimistic. But what gives me any belief so far in the short term that Chris Ilitch has been an owner that he's going to pay a guy long term. What I mean by long term is over 3 years. So if he signed Baez. Okay, that was a terrible deal. Terrible. He's doing a little bit better this year, but it was a terrible deal. I think he got buyer's remorse, and I think he's afraid. He's afraid to spend after Baez. So now what do you do?
Sure. He swung in a big miss.
Yep. And so now he's scared. And I see for years I was always like thinking salary cap. So I still do from time to time. But at this point, I don't care. If he wants $40 million, pay him. He's going to bring in the revenue. Pay him. $40 million.
Well, there's no salary cap. Yeah, so there's no reason. You're just paying the player that you want.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why he don't pay for more better players either. I mean, there are certain things in his personal life that I think is attributing to some of this stuff, but I don't know why. Like I know he wants to go through the draft. He articulates it very well. Oh, I want to build through the draft. It's getting old. So you can't keep saying that and not produce. So as long as he keeps, if it doesn't, you need to sign veteran players. And if you don't,
if you're saying you want to build through the draft and your players aren't hitting, I mean something's got to change. I agree.
Yeah, I know we're getting real close to the end, so I didn't want to. We got 6 minutes left, so I mean. Don't know what else you want to talk about.
Yeah.
So Montero was the other guy that you were going to talk about too. Right now, he was today's pitcher. He just got relieved by Herter. Mm-hmm. His stat line today was 5 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 runs, and damn it, why you change on me, jackass? Anyway, 6 hits, 4 runs. 4 earned runs, 2. They gave up 2 home runs. They had 7 Ks, a walk. Yeah, he didn't have. He had not a really greatest day. That darn cat.
Yeah, he's bothering the heck out of me, man. He keeps chewing on my line stuff, but it is what it is. I mean, that's the thing you have with a cat. Um, so they brought him up for this game to give a rest and to bump all the starters one. So they did that on purpose. Nobody was hurt. They just brought him up, see what he had in him, because he did pretty well from. So they wanted to see what Montero could do, and also give everybody a bump rest. So everybody gets a day of rest. Unfortunately, he gave up, a ton of runs, and we lost, or we're going to lose. Sixth inning, you never know. But I've seen us come back before.
Yeah,
but not too optimistic. So it helps them in the long run because we've had. I mean, who would have pitched today? Let's see, Flattery. Then you would have had Reese Olson would have pitched today normally. So Reese Olson in his last outing got very little run support. Last year, I think he was one of the worst pitchers to get run support last year, and so maybe it wouldn't have changed anything this year. I mean, they may have still scored 5 runs against him. I don't know. He's a really good pitcher, but I mean, yeah, I think they were just trying to bump a rest. He'll probably get sent back down in the next couple of days. So don't.
I mean, it's kind of like a mixed bag of tricks in this game. He like I said, he had 7 strikeouts, so he didn't do bad in that department.
Right.
He didn't get any run support, and I think that's what killed him too. I mean, oh, by the way, your boy Torkelson, Nate hit another home run today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow, man, guy is hitting power.
Yeah, his OPS is pretty good though right now.
Yeah.
His OPS is 947, not counting today. So yeah, he's
honestly, if the Tigers can just float around the 1 and the 2 of the division, I think they'll be fine. Now, they're for 1 the division. That division has seemed very strong this year, so I think the Tigers can definitely take it. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's a stepping stone, but I mean, I know how the fan base is going to react by the end of the year, depending on what takes place. I just the problem with a lot of fan bases is like when you go farther than expected, that's the new benchmark.
Yeah.
I mean, when the Lions went to the NFC title game 2 years ago and they kind of cracked it in the second half, well, so to speak, they cracked it in the second half. Now everybody's like, well, they got to get to the NFC title game now. That's the new benchmark. That's just the way it is. So you have to get back to what you're
far. They got to win the Super Bowl.
Well, they could get back. They could get to the Super Bowl and lose, and I think the fan base would be fine. It's you just have their appetite for the NFC Championship game is what they're looking at right now. But for the Tigers, anything less isn't acceptable. Absolutely. But the Tigers, it's like the fan base gets a taste of going that far. They're going to be like, if you don't make the playoffs, and if you don't go like a certain distance, you're going to it's going to be a failure. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. We get a home playoff game to start the season, and we get to the second round.
Well, the question is, what are the expectations? The question is, what are the expectations of the Tigers this year? I think the fact that they're leading the division right now is an added bonus, and they're not playing their best ball, and they're not healthy fully. So, I mean, that's pretty good,
Yeah. Once again, the fan base's expectations versus the front office of any sport is always going to be different.
Well, that was great talk for this afternoon. Thank you very much, Chris, for your insight there, and also for Nate chiming in there. Sorry, man, you got to get in there, brother. You got to get in there.
Yeah, you got to force yourself
Pirates,
in.
man. You got to get in there.
No, I was listening to the Guru's talk. I like to observe.
Oh, you like to observe?
Easy. Don't say Guru.
I like to observe.
I don't like that high of a pedestal.
Anyway, it has been an interesting show talking about the Tigers and other teams too as well. Again, the Tigers are losing 5-1 at bottom of the 6. It don't look good for them. And this will be probably the first series they've lost since Los Angeles.
Yep.
Yeah. But hopefully better days. We got a 4-game series against KC starting tomorrow. So hopefully everything goes back into alignment. Other than that, everybody have a great rest of your afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow at 2:00 with Jim, the hockey guy. Be talking NHL playoffs. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And thank you, Yoli, for accommodating the section and everybody that viewed. Have a great afternoon.